My name is Agnes. I am 80 years old, and every single morning I walk into my kitchen and I make my own breakfast. I chop my own vegetables, I cook my own meals, I wash my own dishes, and I do it alone, without help, without someone standing beside me making sure I do not drop something or forget something or need something. Just me and my kitchen and the quiet, satisfying business of feeding myself properly at 80 years old. People act like this is remarkable. My children look at me sometimes with this expression, part admiration and part anxiety, like they cannot quite decide whether to be proud or worried. And I understand it. I do. The world has a picture of what 80 looks like, and it does not always look like a woman standing at her own stove making soup from scratch on a Tuesday morning. But that is exactly what I am doing. And today I want to tell you how and why it matters more than people realize. My name is Agnes, and my kitchen is the place where I am most completely myself. I have been cooking since I was 7 years old. My mother put me on a stool beside her at the kitchen counter and handed me things to stir and peel and measure, not as a lesson exactly, just as participation, just as the natural inclusion of a child in the work of the household. And I loved it immediately, not just the eating, though I have always loved eating, the making, the process of taking separate things and combining them into something that nourishes people. There is a particular satisfaction in that process that I have never found in anything else quite so reliably. I cooked through my whole life, through raising 4 children who all had different preferences and strong opinions about everything on their plates, through decades of Sunday lunches that lasted 3 hours and fed whoever happened to be around. Through the years after my husband George passed away, when cooking for one felt strange and sad, and I had to learn all over again that I deserved a proper meal even when there was only me to eat it, especially then, I kept cooking through all of it. And now at 80, I am still cooking, still managing my kitchen entirely on my own. And I want to tell you the practical things I have learned, because staying independent in the kitchen at 80 is not just about stubbornness. It is about being smart. It is about adapting. It is about knowing your body and your limits and finding ways to work with them instead of against them. The first thing I did years ago before I needed to was make my kitchen work for me. I rearranged everything so that the things I use every day are within easy reach, not on high shelves, not in low cupboards that require kneeling, at the level where my hands naturally fall. This sounds obvious, but most kitchens are not set up this way. Most kitchens are set up for convenience of storage rather than convenience of use. I changed mine. Every frequently used item, pots, pans, oils, the things I reach for every single day, lives at a height I can access without strain. And that simple rearrangement removed 100 small frustrations from my daily routine. The second thing is my tools. I have invested, over the years, in good tools that make the physical work of cooking easier. A good sharp knife that requires less force to cut with, a lightweight pan that my wrists can handle, a jar opener that lives permanently on the counter because there is no shame in making the easy thing easier, a rubber mat under my cutting board so it does not slip, a kettle that is not too heavy when full. These things are not admissions of limitation. They are expressions of intelligence. The right tool for the job has always been good cooking. At 80, that principle just applies to a wider range of jobs. The third thing is my planning. I plan my meals at the beginning of the week, not rigidly, not with the kind of military precision that takes the pleasure out of cooking, but with enough thought that I always have what I need and I am never standing in my kitchen at 6 in the evening wondering what to do. I write a simple list. I shop once or twice a week. I keep a well-stocked pantry of staples. Tinned tomatoes, dried pasta, good olive oil, dried beans, eggs, onions, garlic. Things that can become a meal quickly when I do not have energy for something elaborate. And I give myself permission to have simple days. Not every meal needs to be complicated. Some evenings, toast with good butter and a boiled egg is exactly right, and I make it with the same care I bring to everything else, and I eat it at my table properly, and it is enough. The fourth thing, and this is the one my children did not expect, is that I learn new things. At 80, I know. But here is what I have discovered. Learning a new recipe, even a simple one, does something wonderful to the brain. It requires attention and sequence and memory and the satisfying experience of something going right because you followed the steps carefully. I try at least one new recipe every month. Sometimes it is a disaster. Last month I made a lentil dish that was so aggressively seasoned I had to throw half of it away. And I laughed. And I made a note of what went wrong. And next month I will try again. The kitchen is still a place of experiment and discovery at 80. It has not become just a place of maintenance. And that matters to me enormously. The fifth thing is what I call my anchor meal. Every day I make one proper meal, even on the days when energy is low, even on the days when everything aches and the idea of cooking feels like too much. I make one real meal, not elaborate, not time-consuming, but real, made with real ingredients, eaten at my actual table. Not in front of the television, not standing at the counter, at my table, with a proper plate and a cloth napkin because I am worth a cloth napkin even when I am eating alone. This anchor meal is not just about nutrition, it is about dignity. It is about the daily practice of treating myself as someone worth feeding properly. Someone whose health and pleasure and daily experience matters. Someone who deserves more than something pulled from a packet because cooking feels like too much effort for just one person. You are never just one person. You are a person, a whole complete person who deserves a proper meal every single day. Cook it for yourself. The sixth thing is pace. I cook slowly now. Not because I have to, because I choose to. The rushing of younger years, the cooking while simultaneously managing children and phone calls, and the 1,000 other demands of a full house. That rushing is gone, and I do not miss it. Now I cook the way I always wanted to cook. With attention, with presence, with the pleasure of actually being in the process instead of trying to get through it. I notice things I never noticed when I was hurrying, the way onions change color in olive oil, the sound of something simmering, the smell of garlic hitting a warm pan. These things were always there. I just never had the pace to appreciate them. Slow cooking is not a limitation. It is a luxury I have finally given myself. I am 80 years old. My name is Agnes, and my kitchen is mine. It is the place where I am most capable, most useful, most completely in charge of something real and daily and nourishing, and I intend to keep it mine for as long as my hands can hold a knife and my legs can carry me to the stove, not out of stubbornness, out of love. Love for good food and the making of it. Love for the independence that comes from feeding yourself well. Love for the woman who stood on a stool beside her mother at 7 years old and fell in love with the work of the kitchen and has never, not once in all the decades since, fallen out of it. Your kitchen is yours too. Keep it that way, as long as you possibly can. Thank you for being here with me today.